Welcome to Taking It to the Note. And I know it's not Saturday, it's Friday. But today is special because tomorrow I'm flying to Vegas for TPE to do more cigar things. And I wanted to have Cynn Coburn on this show before I went to Vegas. I'm going to introduce you to one of the most fabulous women that this industry has gotten to have. I'm going to bring in Cynn right now. Cynn, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fabulous, and you look fabulous. So we're all in good shape.
Thank you.
And where are you sitting right now?
We are at a boutique hotel called Artisano. So, I mean, we live 10 minutes from here, but we were like, why not? Let's go have a night out together and enjoy the view of the ocean from a different area. So, because our house actually shows the ocean, and we just wanted something a little different tonight. So.
And this is in Nicaragua. You're coming live from Nicaragua right
now. Yep, from San Juan del Sur. Yeah.
Beautiful. I am blessed to have you on the show at this from that far away.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and what's awesome is the time difference really isn't that bad. We're still Central Time, so.
Yeah, that's true. It's not that bad. It's just a little bit of a flight to get from here to there, but not too bad.
Yep. No, we love it. We've been here for oh gosh, I'd say 9-10 months now. So yeah, we love it.
Are you smoking any cigars?
Yeah, I'm actually smoking the soapbox, the Dissident soapbox.
You got the rant.
Nice. That's a great one. That's a heavy one.
It's 95 rated on my site. I love this cigar.
That is awesome.
Definitely made my top list this year.
I'm glad to hear that. I love that. We've actually made a few this year, which is so great for starting out 2022 and, being a new owner of a cigar brand. So it's put a big smile on my face. That's for sure.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Now, before I get into the show deep, let's just reel it back for a second. And who is Cynn Coburn? I just met you, and I probably might have crossed paths somewhere here or there in the cigar world, but who is Cynn?
Yeah, so for the majority of my life, I've spent a lot of my time actually helping other people. So my adulthood, let me back up a bit. So I spent many years dealing with abuse and like some childhood traumas and stuff. So as an adult, I took initiative and actually became a sexual assault and domestic violence advocate. I ran a boys' home for 4 years, and they were all like at-risk youth, court ordered to live in my facility. So did that. I worked for a law firm that helped elderly with estate planning and just making sure that the elderly were safe and taken care of while they were in the care of others. And then I ran a home for in-home care for elderly and disability. So I did that for many years. And then I met Josh, who is a motivational speaker. And so we kind of joined forces and did that for a bit. And then we kind of took off to Nicaragua and then became the owner of Dissident Cigars. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right, that's it. That's the show, folks. He answered all the questions.
I know.
Let's unpack that for a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
So I do know that you have an entrepreneurial spirit in you. Mm-hmm. You have quite a number of websites out there that you have different products that you're involved in besides cigars, probably there before cigars. All right. So some of these, talk to me about some like your coffee site. You got a coffee site. You got some. Talk about some of your other sites before we get into cigars.
Yeah, so like with the coffee, that is Catfight Coffee, and that's actually through AC Slade, who was a member of the Misfits. For those of you that know that band, the Misfits, Joan Jett and the Black Hearts, he was in that band. Yeah, so he's a friend of ours. So we just have kind of joined forces with him just through talking and stuff, and decided like we loved his coffee. You know, it was just really, really good coffee. So we helped him with that to promote that business. And I mean, his coffee is so great. It's still, we have trouble getting it because we don't have an address in Nicaragua. There's just no such thing as a mailing system here. So it's harder to get his coffee. But anytime that we're in the States, we try to order it so we can bring it back to Nicaragua. So you don't see it as much from us anymore, but when we have it, we do talk about it. We have Beard Octane, which is beard products. So, which I think is so awesome because he approached us and me about that. Because he truly believed in what I was doing and what Josh was doing prior to cigars, you know, just in the motivational world. So he asked if he could actually run a beard care line with us. And we were like, hell yeah, you know? So we have that. And with my dreads, I actually use that all the time. I use the beard care products on my dreads nonstop. So
And you say that it smells like cherry, vanilla, rum, and cigars, just like
yeah. Well, so mine is cherry, rum, and tobacco, and Josh's is vanilla, rum, and tobacco. So mine, you get the stronger hint of the cherry, and Josh, you get the stronger hint of the vanilla. I may be partial, but I love mine. I have it in my hair right now. I can smell it.
Just smell it. I wish I could do that.
But you have a beard. You can put it in your beard.
Oh, this ain't not. This is now just normal. If you go back on my Facebook live feed, I mean my Facebook feeds, even the shows, the previous shows from 2021, I guess, 2020. I don't know. It's been so long. We've been in this pandemic. I had the COVID beard thing. I started like this, and it was like this and like this and like, and you got people that are watching them though, they laugh their asses off, and I do, and I look at it, I'm like going, what was I thinking?
No, beards are awesome. You should totally.
Not the way I had it. I would look like a dirty old Santa Claus.
It's all like pooped out. But see, like with beard care products, it wouldn't. It would be all like smooth and supple, I would say.
True. So yeah, so you got these beard products, you got this coffee, you got some other things out there. And then did the cigars come by moving to Nicaragua, or did the cigars concept come before you moved to Nicaragua?
Neither.
You've been smoking cigars.
Yeah. So I've been smoking cigars for years. I'd say about 5 years now. And
that pre-Coburn?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, like meeting Josh and finding out that he smokes cigars was just a bonus for me. I mean, it's usually the other way around, you know, like Josh will say the same thing, like, I met this chick and she already smokes cigars. But with me, I'm like, I met this guy and he already smokes cigars. It's awesome. But yeah, so already in the cigar world. And then actually what brought us to Nicaragua, aside from Dissident Cigars, was we went on the Black Label Trading Company tour, so at Oveja Negra and SLE. And prior to that, we were kind of talking to James and Angela about Black Label, who they're the owners of Oveja Negra, which includes Black Label Trading. Oh, yes. Fantastic people. Their Oveja Negra, that factory, is just phenomenal. So we took that tour and we were just blown away by the whole factory, by the people that worked there, by how they treated the people, by the care they put in the cigars, all of that. I mean, it was just astonishing. But still having no idea that we were going to own a cigar company of our own. We were truly just going there because we loved their cigars and we wanted to see what it was all about. So went there, ended up going to their house just because they were somewhat friends of ours and our friendship kind of grew. And then the pandemic hit, and we originally wanted to take the kids to Nicaragua to vacation because we love Nicaragua. And our kids were like, well, why don't we just move to Nicaragua? And we were like, okay. So we essentially sold everything that we owned and packed a suitcase each and we moved to Nicaragua. So living here now for, like I said, almost like 9-10 months or so. it's number one, it's very hard to obtain cigars in Nicaragua. People don't realize that. It is very, very hard. Unless you have connections, there's really no way to get cigars here.
That's right. You got
Yeah.
to go to the airport if you're lucky in Managua, and there you got to go to those kiosks and they're ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
And unless you know, because everything in Nicaragua is for export.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, like we have Dissident at our home, but that was just by pure chance because Oveja Negra happened to have our cigars, just some of them laying around. And so we purchased them for ourselves, but we still don't have things like, we don't have the rave right now in our house. We don't have the tirade. So, I mean, that just goes to show you how difficult it is to get the cigars. Even our own cigars are hard to get.
Her butane's hard to get too.
It is. There is one store in our town that sells butane, and it's the only butane you can find. So people can talk shit about Bic all they want, but we have Bic all over our house because that is all we have to light our cigars. So
that's what Skip Martin says. Skip Martin lights all the cigars with a Bic because he says, "Hey, that's all I have down in Nicaragua."
Yeah, it's either that or it's a stick, you know. So like. We love our Bic. But yeah, so backing it up a little bit, we lived here for a number of months, and we don't know what happened with Dissident. We don't know Ben, who was the original owner of Dissident. We don't know what happened with any of that. So there's not much we can say about that whole aspect, but we were offered the company. And really, it was just a quick decision for us because we were like, man, this brand just, it fits our lifestyle. It fits who we are. So, I mean, it took us, shoot, like not even a week. And we were like, signed, you know, like we're like, take all our money. So yeah, so that's how that came about. But we were already in Nicaragua with no intentions of owning a cigar company. Just our intentions were honestly just to semi-retire because we had that ability and just live out life. But when an opportunity like this is presented to you, it's kind of hard not to take it, especially when things really align. So yeah, that's what we did. So I kind of took that and ran with it.
Well, the journey's just begun because you're just like a month and a half, 2 months into this, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of getting it going. You came in, you have a fantastic line of cigars that you purchased, made by one of the best factories down there. Mm-hmm. Your heads must be down and dirty now looking at what new things you can produce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? What is your having smoked, you've been smoking cigars, you said what, for 5 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So what is some of your most like favorite type of blends do you like?
You know what's crazy is, so even 2 years ago, I could instantly say, give me all the Maduros that are out there. I love Maduros. I love.
You learn what Maduro is.
Yeah, but without the pepper, you know, it's a big deal. Like I didn't like any of the pepper. But then I had surgery, and that really cut down my ability to have Maduros or anything. It's so hard to explain, but my taste buds really changed from that. So I went back to Connecticut's for a while. But now more of the, I'd say like the plain cigars that don't have your white peppers, your black peppers, or, you know, your cayennes or anything. They don't do it for me. So now I'm more into the pepper and the Habanos and the Maduro. So it really changes. It's really weird. Like I wouldn't be surprised if 6 months from now I'm on a totally different train with what I like in cigars, which it's weird, but I also enjoy the journey. I like, you know, learning what my mouth and my body goes through and changes, you know. So, and it's interesting too, because, you know, starting off, obviously cigars are an acquired taste, I would say. So you can't really pick up the certain flavors. And through time, learning the retrohale and stuff, I am actually able to pick up some of the flavors on these cigars from, you know, like orange and cinnamon, or some people say cinnabon, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can absolutely taste that.
Cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah, so I'm excited because prior to owning the cigar business, I was already picking up on that. And now, as being a blender for my own company, it's fun. You know, it's a little intimidating because you don't know if people are going to like what you come up with, but all in all, it's really fun. Especially being able to smoke individual leaves and seeing what those leaves bring out, and then combining them, which is something that everybody, I mean, most people don't have the ability to do that. They can't just pick up one single tobacco leaf and smoke it, you know, and I have the unique ability to do that. So that I'm blessed to have that ability, and then to take all those different flavors and put them together into something that I think is great is even more awesome to me. And if I stumble and fall, well, I have a great master blender in James Brown that can help me out. So it works out in the end.
Do you like to cook?
Do I like to cook?
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so I like to cook, but my laziness tells me otherwise.
Yeah, but when you cook, do you like to experiment with different spices and different
I do.
ingredients?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Especially here in Nicaragua, because there's so many different spices here that in America you never see. And so as soon as we moved here, I was just like, you know, with all these different flavors that they have down here that you can't even buy in America, you know. So that's been really fun too. So it's really expanded my palate.
So having that expansion and having that desire to blend food, blending the tobaccos must come pretty naturally to say, well, this tastes like this and that taste. Not always will they taste the same when you put them together, but you are learning this. Yeah. What is a typical day at the factory like for you?
Fun.
Smoky.
Very smoky. A lot of it is actually, you know, I like to say that it all boils down to the people at the heart of this company. So we were just there not even 2 weeks ago, and I just love walking around and seeing what the staff is doing and the love that they're putting into these cigars, and that really motivates me because I mean, in the end, I can blend whatever, but if cigars are being made poorly, well, what does it matter, you know? Right. So it's really nice to see that I can be in the back trying out these different tobaccos, and in a matter of minutes, I have people on it that are actually putting the cigar together real quick for me to see what it's like all together. So that is really, really exciting. So I'm truly fortunate in that aspect that I actually have a factory that I can go to and sit down and pick different tobaccos and put them together. And again, within minutes, see what it tastes like, you know? So I love that about having the access to the factory, because a lot of people don't have that. I mean, there's a lot of brands out there that they want to get in this business, and unfortunately they don't have the ability to go to Central America and these different countries to truly see what these cigars are made of. They know what they want in their heads, you know, and the people can make it for them, but to actually truly be there on the front lines and put them together, to me, makes a huge difference. And I value it more because I can see firsthand what the people are doing and the love that's going into it as well. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, it has always been my pleasure to walk into factories, Dominican, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, places like that. Even here in the U.S., going to a few places that are just like Ybor City and just watching them do their work. Yeah. And it's a special thing when you produce a cigar, right? What is James's philosophy on how long they should stay in the aging room before they ever get sent or packaged to be sent back to the States?
Well, that's a big secret. So he's got some in there that have been in there for a very long time. Some, you know, he has different requirements for different things, and that's stuff that I'm still learning. So I don't know the exact requirements, but what's phenomenal about him is he's like cracking this like hard shell. You know, you can only get so much information out of him, and I think that makes it beautiful in a sense because you know, if you can get more information out of him, you feel honored to get that information. So, but I can tell you, I'm in that aging room all the time, and woo-wee, you know, like that never gets old. You walk in there and it's just like, you know, it like burns your nose hairs.
Oh yeah, all the ammonia that's just blowing out of these things. And you know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, that that's why things need to sit in an aging room for 4 months.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's vital.
You know, because you smoke a cigar. Sometimes people smoke a cigar and they say, "Oh, it's peppery." You gotta be careful with that because it may not be pepper. It might be.
Oh yeah, it's
Might be
ammonia.
ammonia that's burning
Yeah.
your nose. So
Yep.
always smell the foot of that cigar before
Uh-huh.
you light it up, because if you smell any ammonia, you probably want to put it down. Choose a
Yeah.
different cigar.
Yeah. And that's crazy that you brought that up too, because not only, you know, do they go through the aging process, but you also have to freeze them. There's just like a huge step that people don't realize cigars have to go through. And when we're blending, obviously that process is not happening. So we are taking pure leaf tobacco and we are shoving it into a newly formed cigar and we are smoking it. So
Trying to just get the nuance, trying to understand if it's meeting close to what you want. And even then, after it's been laying around for a little while, it's still not be what you want.
Right. So it's a good thing that, like, if you, whether you're making a limited edition or just, you know, your run of the line, you know, core line, it's really good to continue to pull from the aging room and see what's happening to these cigars. So we already have a limited edition that we're working on. And thankfully, this is a blend that I created months ago. And I've held on to it for quite a while. So I've had the honor of actually tasting it from day one all the way. I mean, it's been a few months now and it's only gotten better. So that's great, because with just coming on as the owner of this company, we are able to produce a limited edition pretty darn quickly because we've already had the process down. So not only did we taste the cigar right from the creator, but we're also tasting it months down the line. So it's truly a good cigar that I'm very proud of, especially for being the first one that's new to Dissident. So pretty exciting.
We're gonna call this one the Sinful.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say what it's called. But it already has a name.
Let me take a quick commercial break here, throw out the sponsors so everybody knows who's sponsoring the show today. And when we come back, let's dig a little more into Cynn and Josh and life in general for you guys in Nicaragua.
All right, absolutely.
So today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova Cigars is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar, resulting in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at www.novacigar.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as long as this ad is up, if you go to their main webpage, put in the code BostonJimmie15, you'll get 15% off your order on their site. Today's show is also brought to you by Cigar Medics.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
And today's show is also brought to you by Rodriguez Cigars. Rodriguez Cigars goes back to 1947 when the Rodriguez family began the masterful art of cultivating tobacco in their private plantation in the town of Siguane in island nation of Cuba. They fled the island in 1972 and found their way to the United States. And in 1984, they opened up the first Rodriguez Cigar Factory in Key West. The Rodriguez Cigar Factory is the oldest operating and running cigar factory on the island of Key West. And if you go there, you can take a tour of that factory and you can get in on your own blending of a cigar. And for that is a great experience. So next time you're in Key West, or if you just want to check out any cigars from Rodriguez, go to www.rodriguezcigarskeywest.com. And believe me, when you try these, you will like them. Lastly, today's show is brought to you by El Chan Cigars. El Chan Cigars is a dream come true for husband and wife, Gabby, El Chan, and Liz. They want all hands that work the tobacco leaf in their home country of Puerto Rico to have the same opportunity to expose their products. They call it La Joya del Chan because they cultivate part of their product, and at some point they want to be able to supply the world with their native tobacco leaf. The pride that Gabby and Liz feel is the same pride of all those who work the tobacco leaf, and for this, they deserve a portal that represents them. They want to thank everyone for supporting their country. They say we will resist, and you can follow them at www.lajoyadelchan.com and El Chan Cigars on Instagram and Facebook. Let's get back to Cynn. Always a little harder to do it without sponsors. I love it. So you're down there, you got this new cigar you're coming out with. You're not going to tell me the name of it, but I think Sinful would be an amazing name for a cigar. Using your word Sin instead of SIN. Just put your brand on it right away. So that's one you're going to come out with. You planning to come out with a few more this year, or you're going to expand on the existing line?
So I moved a lot of, so you have the core line, and there was some that were not really limited releases, but they were short runs. So we took those and we put them into the core line. I felt that was kind of important to do because they were great cigars that just needed to be out there continuously. So did that. And again, I'm currently working on the limited edition, but I also want to create a cigar that is more user-friendly when it comes to new cigar smokers. So, I mean, because both Josh and I have a large following that doesn't come from cigars, but so many of them want to get into cigars. And unfortunately, with our cigar line, there really isn't a cigar where I can be like, yeah, grab this one and smoke it. You know, my biggest fear is that they're going to smoke the tirade or the rant and be like, oh my God, no, you know? So I really want to create something that is enjoyable for everybody. So we'll see where that goes. I think that would be the next non-LE related cigar that we're in talks with. And I know right now from the outside, it looks, things are kind of like stagnant, or it doesn't seem like a lot's going on, but honestly, I've hit the ground running. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Just so much so, I mean, it's just exhausting because of, you know, we're really trying to get things out there as fast as possible, just to meet the demand. Honestly, there actually is a big demand. And, you know, some of you know that Dissident has been out for quite a while. We're in now 120 cigar lounges and retailers. But there's a lot of people that don't realize that. They think this is a brand new brand. So we really want to continue to expand it and get it into more lounges and continue to make the current fan base to love these cigars. I mean, because it is, I mean, a lot of people that like Dissident, they also like Dissident because it's coming from Oveja Negra. And I am so thankful that that is where these cigars come from, because they are not a factory that just lets anybody in. They don't let anybody in. They will not let anybody in because they're particular with how these cigars are made. They don't want to overproduce. They want to keep them truly boutique. And for those of you that have been smoking for years, you know that boutique is actually a great thing. And that's that's becoming a turned leaf where people do truly realize that, because you still have the what smallness, I guess I can say, of a company to where the quality is there. And I'm not saying that the quality is not there for larger brands, but with boutique, you're truly getting a handmade, hand rolled cigar. And, you know, there's a lot of attention being put into these cigars. So Oveja Negra will never, I mean, they never want to expand in that sense, because they want to keep everything to their perfect standards, you know. So I'm very thankful that we are a part of that, because I can truly say our cigars are coming from a wonderful factory. You know, if there was any concern in that, I don't know that I would have thrown my money at this company, you know, but it was just such an easy answer because it's coming out of Oveja Negra. So
one of the nice things I like about what James does and how he produces cigars, it sounds like a nit, and it is, but you see, the band comes off very easily. It's never over glued, right? You just take it, you just take a little tip of your thumb, and it just pops off. No tearing, no trying to dig into the wrapper to get the band off.
yeah.
I love that.
Yep. They're very particular about, I mean, right down to the bands. If something isn't right, they will send it back. They do not care, because the quality is a huge deal with them. And I truly appreciate that. And that might mean more money out of our pockets that you guys don't see, you know, because in the end, the cigars are still the same prices, right? But we don't mind having to pay more in order to get a quality cigar out there. And that means right down to the band, because no one wants to be picking at a band that takes forever, and then your wrapper is tearing, and then it's just a shit cigar, right?
Hey, I tell you, my rating system, I deduct a point for that. If I have to
blame you.
get in there and try to get that band, you know, I expect it to heat up a little bit, and then it should loosen up. You know, it doesn't always have to come right off, but you know, once you get that heat going, usually that helps it. But even then, if I'm in there trying to dig in, I'm trying to find a tool to gently get in there, that just drives me insane.
Yeah, because if you want to truly be an exceptionally great cigar, all those little details matter. And Oveja Negra has nailed that down. So it has made it relatively easy for me, because I make decisions and they perfect them. So, I mean, I'm so thankful, truly so thankful for that.
Couple of comments from the audience here. Chris Colter chimed in. He says, "Good evening from Boyd, Texas. Can't wait to see how far you'll take Dissident."
Oh, it's going to be far.
Tyler Garcia, he comes in from Kansas. He wants to know, he says, always looking for a good beard balm.
Yeah, and I have the balm. So
and the name of that balm was
it's by
Beard Octane.
Yeah, yep. And the balm is it's called Sinful. CYNNFUL. Yeah. So there's the name that you were looking for. It's on the beard balm.
All right. There you go. Yep, that's so far. That's what we got. Let's see. That's the comments. Love the name. Says Jason Vincent. So we got some people chiming in on here. On my feed just dropped off, so I'm getting some of the newest feeds coming in. When do you get back to the United States to do anything?
It's actually going to start in March. So I'm going to be there for the Underground in Texas. Yeah. So decided to do that one. That's going to be my kickoff for the tour in the United States. So I'll be doing each territory throughout the year. So you'll see my face pretty much all around the US at some point. So you better get used to this mug. So, and I'm excited because, you know, not only do do I have a great cigar company, but with that, there's already wonderful reps. So I have no complaints about my reps either. They're wonderful. So I'm so excited just to get on the road and be with them and have great conversation and have them, introduce me to more great people and get in these lounges and shake hands and break bread and make friends and make family and do all that stuff. So I'm actually really excited about it. So yeah, all throughout this year, I'll be traveling.
And you should be. Now I think this might be your quote. Mountains don't rise without earthquakes. Respect the negative as much as the positive.
Yeah, that is so true. So many people shy away from the negative. You can't do it because we need that negative in our life. I mean, how can you truly perfect who you are as a person without any kind of negativity? You have to learn from that. You have to get tools from that. So, I mean, I've had a shit past. I mean, a past that I wouldn't wish on anybody, and I would never want to relive it. But I'm thankful in a sense for it because I'm strong because of it, because I have learned how to heal on a soul level due to everything that I've gone through, which takes a lot of fucking grit and strength to do. And so years ago, I actually had my kids volunteering at a nursing home.
How old are your children?
My oldest is he's turning 20 in a couple months.
Lord.
Yeah. I'm older than you think, and I'm not going to say my age, but I really am older than you think. And
right, my grandkid, my grandson just turned 13 or whatever, so it's like...
Well, I blame my youthfulness on my Native American heritage. So, but also with Native Americans, once that age hits, it's like downhill. So. But for now, I'm doing good. But yeah, so I had my kids volunteering at a nursing home, and we had the privilege of meeting with a World War II veteran who was a fighter pilot. And it's been so many years now that I can't quite word for word say his quote, but essentially he said exactly what you said. You need the negative as much as the positive in order to fly. And I was so thankful that my kids got to hear that, because to hear it from a true man who fought in World War II and had all these wonderful stories, and it came out of his mouth, man, that meant so much to me. And it will always stick with me because it is the truth. And when you hear someone that truly fought in this war, I mean, a true war, to be able to say that and come out and find the positive, even through what he went through, I was like, there is nothing in life that I cannot use that quote for. I mean, you truly, negative, there's nothing wrong with negative. It's not, you can't necessarily heal from your past. You learn how to accept it and to work with it is what it is. So I'm thankful for the things I went through, and I use it on a daily basis to continue everything I do in life, whether it's the volunteering I still do with animals and with whales, or this new journey.
You do this whale thing. Talk briefly about your whale project, because I find that fascinating.
Crazy, right? So I've always been one to volunteer my time, obviously, through with my past with the boys home and motivational speaking and everything. I've always had this desire to help people, to help animals, to spread kindness, to spread acceptance. And coming to Nicaragua, it kind of put motivational speaking to aside. It's not easy to do, obviously. It would take a lot of money to continue that. So I wanted to make sure that I still gave of myself in some way. And huge animal lovers, so we got involved with SOS Animalis Nicaragua, which is a nonprofit organization. And it's an animal shelter here that helps with the street dogs. It helps Nicaraguans be able to sterilize their pets in order to get down the pet population, because it's astronomical here. It's very hard to see. But our kids now volunteer with them, and I wanted to continue it myself. Well, just through social media, I had a whale biologist who was watching me for a long time reach out to me because she knew that I was such an animal lover and wanted a meeting with me. So I met up with her, having no idea what she was wanting. And essentially what it turned out to be was she was needing help out on the water. It was somebody that she could trust, that truly understood animal welfare and what it took to keep animals safe, which goes way beyond just the animal. You know, it goes right down to the pollution in the water and, you know, our plastics. And, you know, one of the craziest things I learned was just because you can't see the plastic in the water with your naked eye doesn't mean it's not there. There's actually a sub-level in the water, and that's where all the plastic is. So, and one of the things that really stuck out with me in this meeting was she said that when a humpback whale opens its mouth, it takes in an Olympic-sized pool of water, and it is swallowing everything in that Olympic-sized pool of water. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And so long story short, she kind of explained everything that she was doing and some of the things that were going on in the waters of Nicaragua and the trends that are going on with humpback whales. And, you know, she was wanting to grow and make more of an awareness of her organization, because she's just giving all of herself to these humpback whales and to the ocean and everything. So I was like, fuck yeah, I will help with this. So yeah, so that's how that got started. And so any day that it's not windy, her goal is to get 40 hours in every month of going on the water and doing surveys and trying to find the humpback whales and yeah, collecting data from them and also picking up trash in the process. That's a big portion of what we do. Is no matter what we see in the water, we're picking it up. So I mean, there's a lot involved with that. It's not this whale watching thing that looks so glamorous. You know, it's not. It takes a lot of time and energy out of my life. And I've had to learn a lot. I've had to do crash courses basically on humpback whales. So things I've never knew of prior to this. But I'm very thankful for the experience. It's something that obviously I'll never forget. I'm very proud of, just to be out there and help these beautiful creatures to continue, because they are endangered here. There's about 500 that migrate to Nicaragua every year, but that number is not growing. So there's something going on. So we're helping to figure out why the population is not growing. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now, along with stuff every now and then with SOS and and the cigars. And
Wow, you are a busy woman.
Yes, I am. I had actually a pretty calm week this week, and I was very thankful for it. I was able to just kind of like hide in my room for a little bit and just take a breather. So I'm good now and ready to go and keep doing this. So I'll continue to give of myself in any way that I can. And that even includes with cigars, you know, because just because we don't do motivational speaking anymore doesn't mean I'm not going to be on the road with cigars still trying to help people, you know, because that's just in me. It's my nature. So I'm really hopeful that I can get through to people, even in cigar lounges, and just have good conversation with people and know that they're not alone and they're accepted, and the cigar community is for everybody. It's not just for certain people, like I thought when I first got into this. It's absolutely not what I thought.
Very inclusive these days.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when I started 40 years plus years ago, but it's a much more inclusive culture. We shed our skin when we walk in. We have conversation, keep it calm, and we solve the world's problems in and out.
Yes. There's nowhere else you can go that you can walk into without and know that you're just going to have a good conversation, because the point of a bar is not to have good conversation. The point of anywhere you go, a club, is not to have good conversation. It's to watch sports or to, you know, just drink and have a good time.
Drink, dance, and all that.
Yeah, but at a cigar lounge, you are sitting there and you're forced to smoke for an hour and just relax and have these wonderful people around you that are so willing to give life advice. You know, I've learned more about life and careers and everything that I know from a cigar lounge than I ever have from anywhere I've ever been. And that's just because of the willingness of the people in the cigar community. So I am so happy and so thankful to be in this world and to actually truly love cigars and get that opportunity to meet such wonderful people.
And I've always told people, if you ever go to a town and you're looking for, you have an interest in something besides cigars, go to a cigar shop and ask somebody, because they know what's going on. All right.
Mhm.
Pretty amazing. I remember being in Vegas years ago, and my wife and we wanted to get some pizza, right, for dinner. And I asked the guys in the shop, I said, where's like the best pizza place in Vegas? And the answer was a place called Metro Pizza. And I looked at him like, I think you're gonna break my theory here now, right? But we go to this place, Metro Pizza. It's over by UNLV. Holy crap. It's like amazing pizza. And they have like on the wall, they have like the pictures of the best pizza joints in the United States, from Hawaii to New York to Chicago to LA to Texas, you name it, they're on the wall. And I'm sitting at a chair and I'm look over, and the pizza place that I grew up with when I was a kid at 12 years old, having my first slice of pizza in this guy's joint in my hometown on Long Island, which is still there today, is on the wall. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
yep, ain't no pizza. This is the best pizza. So yeah, you want to know where to get the best haircut? Go ask somebody in a lounge. You want to go where the best Italian food is, the best German food, the best, you name it, they're gonna tell you. They know.
And you know what? That's a true testament to that pizza place too, because how many companies are there that only want to talk about their company versus high tide raises all ships, where, they have no problem talking about these other pizza joints because they want everybody to thrive and succeed. And that's kind of how I look at how I'm going to approach everything, because I've had multiple people ask, well, you used to smoke all these cigars and talk about them, and are you still going to do that? Yeah, I'm still going to do that, because just because I'm the owner of Dissident Cigars doesn't mean I don't like these other cigars anymore. No, I still love these other cigars because there are so many phenomenal cigars out there and people who truly know what they're doing and they're talented. And I'm not going to try to take that light away. There's room for everybody to grow in this. And I just want to raise everybody up. This is a community of loving, supportive people. Sorry, I almost lost my laptop. So I'm not going to change that. I'm not the one to talk negative about anybody or anything or any business. Even if they do me wrong, I'm still not going to say anything bad. That's just not who I am. So I love that about the cigar community. Let's all work together and, just continue to grow this wonderful family is how I see it. So just like with that pizza place, that's a true testament to who they are. They're wonderful people.
Amazing. Now, have you, in the time you've been in Nicaragua, have you had an opportunity to go beyond Esteli, go up to like Jalapa, go to the fields? Have you walked some of the fields?
Yeah, we did that, not since moving here, but we did that when we did the tour of Oveja Negra. So we got to go way up there and go in the fields, and my gosh, what a beautiful, inspiring thing to see, because it is just tobacco as far as the eye can see and these beautiful mountains beyond it, and then you think that's the extent of it, right? And you see these beautiful tobacco leaves and they're flowering, these beautiful pink flowers, and then all of a sudden you look over and you see this rickety shack, this barn, and you're like, what is that barn? And you walk in and it's all these wonderful people just stringing this tobacco together and doing these things. And then these men carrying these huge poles up in the drying barn and they're just stacking them. And you're just like,
And
I
the
thought I
aroma of
oh
that
my
barn.
gosh. Yes. And then you can't see anything. The further you walk, it just gets darker and darker. And you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. And there's just so many smells and so many wonderful people and just how the whole process works. It makes you have a better appreciation for cigars, because I don't think people realize what truly goes into a cigar from start to finish, especially if you're not a cigar smoker. You think you're picking up a cigar and it's just these different names, but they all taste the same. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You can have I mean, it's just exponential. You know, there's just so many different brands and things that you can do with cigars. And just by simply going to a tobacco farm, you learn about that. And I mean, that was just so mind expanding for me. It was wonderful. So I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've been able to have just, you know, throughout the being in the cigar business. So
So there's some more comments that come in. One comes in from Charles Missouri, asks, what is your website and do we carry samplers? So
okay. So my personal website, which doesn't really have anything on it, is Cynnister.com, CYNNISTER.com. And that kind of shows my background, but will essentially lead you right back to Dissident Cigars. Right now, in order to learn about Dissident, you have to go to Abeja Negra's website page. And then you can find Dissident within there. We don't personally have sample packs. Oveja Negra does not. I don't have anything on me personally that I can send because, as we spoke earlier, once it's made, once it's in the aging room and that process is completed, it gets directly sent to our distributor. So what we do is I mean, there's wonderful retailers out there. And so we're directing everybody to the retailers that we know that ship. And we also obviously have a manifest of all the lounges right now that carry our cigars.
is that
So-
on your site?
What's that?
Is the list on your site?
It's not right now. We're actually working on that at the moment because right now when you go to Oveja Negra, it gives you a list of any Oveja Negra cigar, so any of the four. So we're working on tweaking that to make sure that you can see where exactly Dissident is at. But don't be afraid to reach out to me personally and ask, because I have that manifest and I can tell you where they're at, and I can tell you the lounges that are shipping, what retailers are where. You know, again, we're in 120 lounges and it's growing. So lots of avenues you can take to get these cigars. And if you want a sampler pack, my biggest recommendation would be to contact one of these retailers that I give you and see if they can put something together for you.
Or the underground can do that.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then like you have like Tinderbox, and you have what is the other wonderful one? The Abbey, Smokers Abbey.
Smokers Abbey, both in Tennessee and Texas, right?
Yeah. Smokers Abbey is wonderful. Iowa Cigar Company, which is our home lounge. They about bought everything out of this. So you can call them and they have everything, and they will without a doubt put a sampler pack together for you too. So
I'm going to take one more little break, and I'm going to go through what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press. And when we come back, we'll do a little lightning round and close out the show. We'll learn some interesting facts about Cynn and maybe the rest of the crowd. So on Stogie Press this week, I just go to cigar reviews. There were two cigar reviews that I did this week. One was the Jake Wyatt Appendix 2 limited edition Figurado, came in at an 85. Yes, that is a pretty low number for Boston Jimmie. The problem with this cigar was really the burn was just got all really weird and wonky on me. Had to be touched up a number of times. Flavor wise, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as deep as I would have expected it to be, and it did get this like bitter note that hit the palate in the second third that just kind of threw me a little bit off. So that was the appendix. The second one we did was the Stallone Nicaragua cigars, the Zano. This is broadleaf Robusto. This one here is coming out at the Bacalera La Perla. This one here coming in at 91, a beautiful caramel, cedar, cinnamon, natural sweetness, pepper, had a nice little plum note in it, and some spice. Uses a USA broadleaf wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and filler, beautifully packaged with a nice cedar sleeve on the outside. Reasonably priced at $8.35 for the Robusto, up to $11.85 for the Gordo. Beautifully constructed, well packed, nice oily wrapper on it. Had a really nice burn to it. A little bit of off burn there, got dinged a little bit there, but other than that, I really enjoyed this cigar. So you could check that out. If you want to find it, I believe the Underground actually carries these too. Speaking of them, the real new everything is, we're in the TPE cycle here, so there's a lot of news that's breaking on things that are coming out. Casa Cuevas just announced today that they're coming back with their limited edition Flauco, Maduro, and Habano at TPE. If you recall, the other year, their factory got broken into and a lot of these were stolen. So they've revamped it. This is a Lancero, comes in both a Habano blend and a Maduro blend. So look for those to hit the scene very soon. Drew Estate yesterday on their Freestyle Live, they announced the Acid 20 Connecticut. So this is unique. This is going to be quite a balanced cigar, according to Willie Herrera, unlike most acids you've ever had. So it's going to have a Connecticut shade wrapper, the same wrapper that you would have on the Undercrown shade, with an Indonesian binder and a Nicaraguan filler. You can see it on here. There's a whole video that you can watch on what it's all about. So they're going to be featuring these also at TPE. Jake Wyatt, they've announced their highly sought after lithium Lancero. So I like the fact that Lanceros are being announced, because I really enjoy Lanceros. So you can check this one out. This has got so lithium Lancero is joining the others in their line, on the lithium line. So check that out if you get a chance. Hopefully I'll pick a few of those up and do a review on those. There is J.C. Newman has announced their Jose Gasper cigars. So this is a fun project here. It's a kind of a limited run. They're going to be breaking these out in a number of locations in and around Tampa, Florida. So if you get a chance, you can check that out. Go to any of those lounges, or you happen to be over in Tampa, you can check out what they got. It's a 7x50, and it's going to be 5 cigars are going to be $40, so $8 a cigar. So very reasonably priced, coming out of J.C. Newman. And again, there's a whole video here that you can watch that talks to the story of how this came to be. Tarazona Cigars announced the corned beef and cabbage just in time for St. Patrick's Day. So corned beef and cabbage. You didn't give me too much information about it, but we do know that it's going to have a Connecticut, Maduro, and a Candela wrap on it with Nicaraguan binders and fillers. So you can look for these to start to hit the shelves coming up. There's only 615 count boxes of these, and they're going to be retailing at $9 a cigar. And then we also put out the last 2 Take It to the Nub episodes. Mickey Pegg from All Saints Cigars. You can check his interview out here, and also Lewis and Alec Cuevas. So Lewis and Alec, they got overall #1 cigar from Stogie Press with their Patrimonio. So we talk about that in here. And Mickey got the top cigar, small company cigar, for 2021 with his St. Francis, Colorado. So you can check those interviews out if you want. Let's come back to Cynn. So let's do some quick lightning rounds.
They'll scare me.
Oh no, come on, you got answers all of these, I'm sure. Okay. When did you get your first tattoo?
My first tattoo, I was 19 years old.
Can you show it to us, or is it hidden?
Actually, no, I was not 19 years old. I was 18 years old. It was for my 18th birthday. And it's on my back. I don't know if I can show you because of all my necklaces I have on, but but it's a leopard.
It's a leopard. So you got a leopard, beautiful animal lover, goes with the leopard.
Oh yeah, I have lots of animals on me.
Okay, that's good. And Is there much room left on your body other than your face for tattoos?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually have like all this on my arm. I still have to fill in some areas right here. I have my whole right leg, a piece of my left leg left. I have my back. So yeah, I have a lot of room, and that's pretty exciting. I don't know. My age kind of tells me I don't want to deal with the pain, but I'm like, it's so beautiful. So I'll put up with it and get more.
So do you and Josh do like tattoo nights if you get a tattoo?
No, we don't really do tattoo nights. Josh, even though he's fully covered, I think he's over getting tattoos. He's done with the pain. He's had his fair share, and I don't blame him. I mean, there's really not much room left on him. But no, I'm excited to get more work. There's actually a couple really great cigar tattoo artists around here, and one that just actually came local to here. So I'm excited for some new things. So yeah.
We'll look forward to seeing your latest tattoo on a post and be like, hey,
I know, how much more dramatic can you get? Like after you get your
right. This is the tail, and this is
yeah. There you go. That's a good idea.
So I'm the king of good ideas.
I was thinking a lightning bolt somewhere, but you know.
That's it. Yeah. I almost got a tattoo, and then I never wanted to get a tattoo, but when the Boston Red Sox won the 2004 World Series, I wanted to get a tattoo here that was going to have the Babe Ruth, right? In a cloud in heaven, and putting a lightning bolt through the Yankee emblem and blessing the Red Sox.
Nice.
But that would be a cute tattoo, you know. It's like, sorry, the curse is over. I bless you guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm gonna put you to it. So if I ever run across you, right? Because I'm gonna be all over the US. If we are face to face, I say that we do a live where you get a tattoo and we can do the show again. You get a tattoo.
I'm a little older, and I don't like pain either.
I see your face getting a little red. I mean, and I'm serious. I'm going to hold you to this.
We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Do you play a musical instrument?
I don't, but I would love to learn piano. There's something about piano to me that is just, it does something for my soul. Anytime I hear just a good, I mean, we have a friend that's dear to us who plays piano, and I mean, she'll play it in her house, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's music to my ears. I just love it. So I would love to learn piano. Unfortunately, here in Nicaragua, that's not really something you can really do. I don't know if I have room on my plate for it right now, but it's kind of a dream of mine to learn piano. So
I'm a frustrated bass guitarist. I've been playing it for 40 years, and I think I can
Oh.
just lick of smoke on the water, and that's it.
Hey, that's way better than I could do. So
Terrible at it. I actually just sit back and I don't, I just quietly play it, and I'm like, okay, and I get frustrated and I hang it back in the wall for another 4 months.
fuck this thing.
I go when I look at the tablature stuff, the new stuff that they have that actually shows the tablature and plays the musical, plays the notes and the rhythm and the timing, and I'm like, yeah, and then I try to do it, and I'm like, oh, my fingers, they just don't want to do what the music says to do. It just does something else, and then I just riff, and that's it now. What's your favorite music genre?
What's that?
What's your favorite music genre?
My gosh, that is always so hard to answer because it's not about the genre to me. It's about how it makes me feel. So, and it's funny because I just posted a meme the other day in my stories about what what my music taste would look like if it was a person, and it was like this whole picture of like everybody from like Motley Crue to Tupac to like, it was like all of these people together, and it's so me because it doesn't matter the type of music. If it speaks to me, oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm a big music person, so if I feel it, I really, really feel it. So anything from country to rock, obviously. I'm a huge metalhead, love metal music, especially 80s metal music. That's my thing. But really any of it, man, if it's good, I don't care if it's Britney Spears or Motley Crue or Scorpion or Wasp. Wasp is always, I love Wasp. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Any of those, man, if they have a good song, I am all for it.
I'm just more of a classical bluesy rock kind of.
Nice, and that's good too.
Led Zeppelin is like the top of my list, have always been. The Lemon song that they redid is just that song just hits me right here. Like you said, it just I can listen to that song over and over again. The bass line is probably the most important thing to me because I'm a frustrated bassist. I'm like, oh God. And I looked up the tablature. It's like, this shit ain't hard. Right? It's some really fast stuff that he does, but it's just like, it just kind of eases me into this almost meditative state.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of nostalgic too, because like as a kid, Led Zeppelin was the first record I ever owned. I was one of those oddballs as a kid where, I wasn't into any of that like stuff that was around in the 80s. I was just Led Zeppelin. That was my first record, and I'm proud of that. But I will say right now, I'm on a big Devin Townsend kick because he's just a genius. And what he puts out in music is so mind-blowing to me. I mean, Josh and I, we had to go to Houston a few weeks ago for a cigar related thing, and we were in the car and this song came on by him that neither of us heard, and it was like a 15-minute song, and I swear to you, he touched every single music genre you could possibly touch in a 15-minute song. I mean, I'm crying and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh. Just like the whole thing was just crazy. So we had our son listen to it. We're like, hey, take 15 minutes and you listen to this song. And he did. He sat there and he listened to it and he's like, that was a crazy song. I'm like, right? Because that man, he's a genius. He's just like Maynard from Tool. They're just wonderful people that just have these expansive minds. So yeah, Devin Townsend right now is my thing.
All right, last question. I guess you could try to answer this however you like to answer it, but I'll frame it this way. The craziest, funniest thing you might have ever done?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I have Josh right next to me and I kind of have to ask him, do I have any like weird, crazy things? Oh, he's mentioning our wedding day.
Oh.
Why didn't I think of that? Because it's actually really funny. So we did not expect to get married. We were in Colorado because we had a business meeting to do for a whiskey brand we were originally working on. And we found out that Colorado doesn't require birth certificates or witnesses or anything like that to get married. And so we were jokingly like, hey, you want to get married while we're in Colorado? And we were sitting at our hotel room and having a cigar. And Josh was like, well, you could be my wife tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I'm like, well, then what time do we need to get up in the morning if you want to get married? And because like our meeting for this whiskey company was at like 9 a.m, right? And so I just like half-assed looked up when the courthouse opens and found out. And he's like, well, I guess we need to set our alarm for 7:30. So we did. And what it came down to was we thought we were going to go to the clerk's office and just get the certificate and just kind of go somewhere like the mountains or whatever, and just kind of laugh about it and wonder if we were really going to sign it or whatever. So we walk into the office and there's a lady sitting there and she's eating pancakes at her desk. She sees us and she's like, hi, and she slides her pancakes under her desk and we're like, hi. you know? And she's like, what can I help you with? And we're like, yeah, we're thinking about getting our marriage certificate and possibly getting married. And she was like, well, I can just do it right here for you. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you don't need anything. We'll just sign the papers and do it right here. So she places the paper on the table, and here's Josh just fucking signing it. And he just like kind of slides it across the table and crosses his arms and just gives me this look like, you know, playing chicken. And I'm like, really? Okay. Okay, this is what we're doing. And so I signed it, and then she takes it and she stamps it and she goes, all right, you are now officially Mrs. Coburn. And I shit you not, my words were, holy fuck balls.
Wow, now there you go. That's a great story, you know.
Yeah, there was no kiss, there was nothing. And then we grabbed that paper and we walked out the doors, and we were just like, oh my God, did that really just happen? And we just busted out laughing. And then we went to some diner and had breakfast, and then went to our meeting with this whiskey company. And they're like, oh, how long you guys been married for? And we're like, an hour and a half. Made it really awkward for this guy.
And it's weird in this country, the different rules and stuff, because you know my niece goddaughter is getting married in June in California, and she called me last year and she said, I would like you to we would like you to officiate the wedding. So, well, how the hell do I do that? Right? She goes, we got to go to this website. You know, it's like $40, you know, if you to get all the stuff you need, right? You go to this website, minister. You go to this website and you can be an ordained minister and do it. So I said, all right, that's what all, and it's good in even though I'm in Florida, it doesn't matter. No, it's valid here in California. And all they did the research. He said, okay, so go to this website, right? I log in, say I'm going to do the ordained minister. I put in my name, my information, my mailing address. All right, I hit the button and it comes up with a pop-up that says, you're now an ordained minister. There's no questions, there's no this, there's nothing, right? And the $39 gets you delivered like the certificate. I got a little badge that says I'm a minister. I'm like, oh, does this get me free parking somewhere?
It's like your Boy Scout like badge of honor.
Yeah, it's like I got all this little stuff, and it's like, yep, and now I gotta go out and conduct the wedding, right? And the only thing you got to do in the wedding, I don't know if they did it with you, but I do know that in most states, the most important thing is you have to say I do, and you say the I do, that's important because that's the, you know, yes, we both agree, and then you sign the papers and you're done. All right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So anybody is listening, I'm an ordained minister. So if you want to do a cigar wedding sometime and you're looking for a minister, I'm available. You can just fly me down and I'll be more than happy to do this and say, you can say I do.
And fun fact, I actually am too. I did it like 10 years ago.
Yeah, right. Just add it to the list of things, you know, in your life. You know, never thought I'd be doing that.
That's awesome.
I'm going to give you the last word.
Yeah. And now I'm choking on my smoke. So yeah, I'm glad that everybody is jumping on board. We've actually had such a good response to taking over Dissident Cigars, so I'm very, very thankful for that. So those of you who are just now learning about Dissident, you can, like I said earlier, just message me directly if you have, if you want to know any kind of information, where to find these cigars, because we're all in this together. So it'll be growing. It's growing quickly. I'll be traveling the country. We're out actually also working on going internationally. So we have a lot of things on our plate to make this grow pretty quickly. So yeah, you can go on Oveja Negra's website, look to see where all their cigars are sold, and furthermore, write me directly and I can tell you what specific lounges there are to get my cigars, and what ones ship, because that's a huge thing right now. So if anybody needs their cigars shipped, hit me up and I'll send you some great websites. So yeah, yep. And then you can also follow me on social media. So Cynn Coburn is my handle for Instagram, CYNNCOBURN. Feel free to follow Josh as well. It's Joshua Coburn. So you can Google us, find a lot of information that way, and yeah, take all those different avenues. So a lot to learn about us. I mean, we're not a small package. So
All right, so the nub. So
oh, nice. I'm on my second one, so I kind of beat you to it.
that's all
I
right.
have-
Smoke slow.
I have this.
I want to thank you for joining the show. I love having a guest like you that really just lets it run, and you did a great job. I want to thank the sponsors and all the listeners for tuning in. Again, if you want to reach out to Cynn and Josh, please do check out Dissident Cigar. I'd like to say thank you to everybody, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.